All right. Episode 7, I think, is what we're currently on.
Yes.
You're mathing this?
We are mathing this.
So,
All right. So we decided to meet with Adine because everyone else is irrelevant.
I am here.
Good, because you're Adine. This should be the right address.
oh, Adine lives here?
Apparently.
I'm coming. Oh, it's you. I was expecting someone else. You're a little early.
Yeah, I didn't know how long it would take me to get here. Better early than late, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, she's adorable.
Look at it. Hey, she
The
was
little pieball
Inception.
dragon.
She was Inception.
What?
She was coming out of the egg on that card.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And who might that be?
This is...
What, Amelie?
Yeah, I think so. This is Amelie. She's one of the kids I work with.
She's adorable.
She is adorable.
Hello, Amelie.
Say hi, Amelie. Hello. I just have to bring her back to the orphanage real quick. Feel free to make yourself at home in the meantime, okay?
Sure. You met Amelie. Woo! So this is where you live, Adine. Small but cozy.
I'm back.
That was quick.
Being able to fly does have its perks, you know.
I bet. Wait, you flew her back?
Well, I am a delivery flyer.
She doesn't get scared or anything?
I bet she loves it.
None at all. She's such a brave little girl.
So, what exactly is it that you do at the orphanage?
Oh, I'm a volunteer. I help them out with whatever they need and sometimes take care of the kids. They only have so many social workers. The ratio is about 1 social worker for every 10 children, so it's good for the kids to spend some time one-on-one with someone they know. I guess you could almost call it babysitting, but for the kids, we basically become foster parents. The older they get, the less likely they are to be adopted. She might be too old to be considered soon.
That's a little strong.
A doctor if I could, but you know, I love dogs,
Probably.
so...
What a shame.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried about what will happen to her if she doesn't find a family. We will still take care of her, of course, but it's not quite the same as having parents. I'd adopt her myself, but I don't think I could care for her properly. Not as a single parent with my packed work schedule. I still volunteer as often as I can, because if I don't, who will? Someone needs to be there for those kids. What? Are you getting the asshole options again?
I'm not going to take the actual options because I'm not an asshole.
No, I'm asking why you're getting them again.
You probably always get the same options.
Thanks, but for me, it's not about being nice. I almost feel obligated to help, you know? Anyway, let's talk about something less depressing.
Like what?
Let me think. Oh, I just remembered that someone died here recently.
That's less depressing? Here in your apartment?
No, not here, silly. It was close, though. Barely a block from here.
Right, the murder of the maintenance guy. I remember that.
Oh, wait, it wasn't murder? I didn't know that. I thought it was an accident or something. That's terrible.
Sorry for mentioning it.
Finding the first victim was already bad enough for me. Now I have to hear there was another murder in town? I wish I could get some good news for once. The murderer's after you!
Terrible, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Don't just focus on the bad things. It's no use lamenting something you can't change.
Sorry, Zani. I guess I should be more positive. It's just not always easy, you know?
Maybe you'll get some good news soon.
I hope so. That reminds me, I've got something I wanted to try on you.
Try on me?
It's nothing too dramatic. I read this magazine the other day and found a few interesting articles.
That's a dangerous way
She
to
reads
start.
cosmos for the articles. She reads play Mouflon for the articles.
Using her partial hands, she held up a magazine to show me its cover. A rather bold-looking female was presented on the front, adorned with trinkets like rings and jewels. Various headlines gave me an idea of the content within. It reminded me a lot of the typical gossip magazines back
She
home.
literally was talking.
Lifestyle, the magazine for modern people?
That's like a real magazine, too. This issue even came with a set of fortune cards.
That's not a thing. I'm sure they're qualified to determine my fate. With articles like 5 steps to get the partner of your dreams, I'm sure they're qualified to determine my fate.
Come on, it'll be fun.
If you say so.
What should we look at first?
The student magazine. It's you decide, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Here, this article talks about dreams and what they mean. Of course it does. Have you had any strange or recurring dreams lately?
I dreamed
Oh,
that
I
I
did
was
have-
talking to a bunch of talking dragons.
I did. No, we woke up dreaming about fire.
Yeah. Fire? That's interesting. Apparently, it's a rather common symbol that can mean a variety of things. Another thing to consider is the significance of the symbol to the dreamer. So, what does fire mean to you? Fire can be destructive, but also wild and passionate. It could represent an issue or problem you can no longer ignore, similar to an actual fire breaking out. It also mentions prophetic dreams, but let's hope yours don't fall into that category.
I doubt they do.
Whew.
What about your dreams?
It kind of feels like they're different every night. Most of them are nonsense, but sometimes I dream of people I used to know. What do you make of all this?
So,
Even the article concludes that scientists haven't figured out exactly why we dream. It's a big mystery. Alright, let's move on.
Oh, I thought you meant moving on from the magazine.
Don't be such a sourpuss. There's some interesting stuff in here.
Dream stuff wasn't so bad.
See, I told you this was going to be fun.
Alright, what's next?
A personality test. Didn't you always want to know what kind of relationship would suit you?
It really wants to toss in trash can.
It really wants us to be like, no, this thing is fucking dumb. Oh, which one? First or third?
I think third.
Sure, why not?
Let's find out. Okay, first question. In a relationship, what role do you take? Is that so?
and that's why you're not getting along with Anna.
Right?
Moving on to the next question.
Wait, aren't you going to answer the questions too?
I'll take the test after you. I don't want to keep track of both of our scores at once.
Alright.
Question number 2. What is your favorite dessert?
Oh. What does this question have to do with relationships? I don't think any of these.
Lemon ice cream with sprinkles?
No.
Chocolate cream cake? You don't like chocolate cream cake?
I mean, I do, but it's not what I would answer in this. Fine, we'll go with chocolate cake.
I mean, that's fair. An all-time classic. Who doesn't like chocolate cake? Okay, here's the next question. What is your dream job?
None of the above.
Then business
What's
person.
the closest to?
Business person, I guess.
I don't understand the appeal of that kind of job. It certainly doesn't mesh well with my ideals.
How many more questions are there?
That's all of them. Now, to look up the results. Well, it says here that the results are outlined in the weight loss booklet that came with the magazine, but I already threw that away. Oh! Look at the first one.
Wow.
Holy shit! That is a way to throw this line down the trash in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given that she is, given that she practices aerobatics a lot, she probably does not actually have any problem with her weight, just objectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, how else would you know?
There's no other way. I'll be at a loss the rest of my life.
But now we get to the best part, the fortune cards.
That's what I was looking forward to.
Me too.
How's that supposed to work, anyway? I mean, they're just cards. How can they predict the future?
Apparently, there are different schools of thought regarding the use of fortune-telling cards. The cards themselves don't know anything, they're just a tool. So the information actually comes from somewhere else.
But where, though?
Well, one interpretation is that it's our subconscious who gives us the answers that we seek. Similar to how dreams can be interpreted, the interpretation of the cards is very dependent on the person itself and the symbols they recognize in the card's images. We recognize images that are relevant to our lives, and that gives us an idea about ourselves and our current problems. However, that's just the most grounded interpretation out there. People usually associate something more paranormal with fortune cards. One of those explanations is that the cards are our way to communicate with a higher being, a paranormal entity that knows more than we do. It can give us subtle nudges using the cards.
And who would that be?
The explanations range from ghosts to angelic beings. One even involved humans.
Really?
Yeah, people would say you could communicate with humans this way. And then there was also something they called higher self.
Higher self? How comes you know so much about this?
Herbs. Lots of herbs.
Because I read the article about it.
She does read the articles.
She reads it for the articles.
Oh.
Okay, what should I draw for you?
Why don't I get to be the one who's reading the fortune?
Because I paid for this magazine, so the cards are mine.
Oh, snap.
Okay, sure. So, what are my options?
I could read your past, present, or future. And what is it gonna be?
I know the future, clearly.
I mean,
Or present.
I would go with present.
Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
You want present? What do you think, Tim?
Sure.
Alright.
Let's see what it says about the present. According to this, understanding our present situation is paramount to understanding the future, as what we do now influences the future that will become our present. Oh, this is interesting.
What does it mean?
Crossroads are ahead of you. Be wary of your decisions, for the consequences may be dire. Careful actions may have rewarding results, but carelessness can have consequences reaching further than you might think. At least that's what the description says. What's your opinion on this?
This is very generic.
It is pretty generic.
I know exactly what this means. It means you're playing a dating sim.
That's basically what that boiled down to.
Also, it means that Maverick is looking for an excuse to attack you.
I mean, we already knew that, though.
Well, she's reading your presents.
Sure, fine. All right, what do we want to hear? I'm not sure I like any of these answers.
Definitely not the last one.
Let's go. I'm not sure. And let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. I feel like this is totally true, especially if you consider what it means for me to be here. I'm aware that whatever I do here could impact a lot of lives.
I see. In that case, I agree that you should be very careful. I guess that's everything the magazine has to offer.
Oh.
I guess that means you had fun then?
Sure, let's call it that.
So, do you have anything interesting going on at the moment? I can't imagine what ambassador life is like.
It's been busy. I thought this whole thing would go by quickly and without any mishaps, but now it seems like there's always something happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I figured I'd come here, do the exchange, and leave again. But apparently it's not that easy.
It never is.
You speak like you've had experience as an ambassador.
Well, no, but doing deliveries is similar. People order something, I fly to them, we exchange the product for payment, and then I go back. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
But things always go wrong. For example, imagine you have 2 deliveries to make and the first one goes smoothly, okay?
I'm imagining it very hard right now.
Alright, so you get to the destination of the second delivery, and they actually check what you're handing them. It turns out that you mixed up the orders, but you already delivered the first one.
That's certainly not a pleasant situation to be in.
Now you have to go back to the first family you delivered to, who by now have probably noticed that they got the wrong delivery and exchanged what you gave them for what they actually ordered.
Right.
But it turns out that they didn't mind the mix-up. As a matter of fact, they've already started eating what they got instead. It's not so bad that they aren't angry, but now you can't exchange the orders anymore, so you have to fly back to the restaurant and get the second order remade.
Happens all the time.
As a result, the people waiting for the second order do get angry, because the order has to be remade and delivered all over again.
And the plot thickens.
They complain and, of course, get their meal comped.
Yeah.
The restaurant can no longer sell that first order you still have, so the orders for both families are deducted from your paycheck, and you end up eating nothing but ramen all week again, just so you can make rent this month.
That's unfortunate.
It's not illegal here.
Right. And that's why you always double check your orders, because even a small mistake can have consequences reaching further than you think.
Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way.
I guess so.
Anyway, what else have you been up to recently?
Do you remember that stunt flying competition I told you about?
Of course. I assume your participation is a given by now.
Actually, I'm not so sure about that. I mailed the application earlier today, so hopefully it'll arrive before the deadline. Or maybe I should just fly it over myself, while showing off a few moves, that is.
You should fly over anyway to make sure you get in. It'd be a shame if you couldn't enter because of a technicality.
Yeah. I really should drop by. By the way, could you do me a favor?
That depends on the favor, I suppose.
It's kind of a long story, but there's something I need. You know some people at the police station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think they're in possession of a map related to an underground building they found.
Yep, that's what I thought she was after.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Oh, that's great. Maybe you can get them to hand it over? It doesn't even have to be the real thing. A copy would be just fine.
What do you even need it for?
Let's just say I'm interested in doing a little investigation of the place myself.
What's so special about it?
It's supposed to be a remnant of an earlier civilization, or maybe even something created by humans. Who wouldn't be interested in that?
What, actually, you're in front of using that up?
Yeah, third one, I think.
See? I think if you put your word in, we could easily make it happen.
How do I even ask for something like that?
You could always say that humanity's interested in it.
Honestly, they probably would be.
Could you just ask them for me, please?
I think I can try.
I won't promise anything, but I can certainly try.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
I didn't know you were into archaeology.
I wouldn't care as much if it turned out to just be some old building. The whole thing about it made by humans. That's what's really interesting.
Why's that?
Well, the myths wouldn't be very mythical anymore if that was the case. We'd have proof.
And that so shortly after finding out humans are, in fact, real.
Yes, what a time to be alive.
So you believe in all that stuff?
Belief isn't the right word when you're standing right in front of me, you know. That alone is a miracle. I get excited all over again just thinking about it.
Speaking of which, all this excitement made me lose track of the time.
Is it that late already? Oh, actually, I have places to be. Especially if I want to make sure my contest application arrives on time.
Guess I should be going then, huh?
For now, at least. I certainly wouldn't mind if you stopped by again sometime.
Will there be any magazines involved?
Actually, that magazine doesn't come out that often, so we wouldn't have anything new from them. I could get a different one if you wanted to, though.
Don't bother.
If you say so. Anyway, I really have to go, so I'll see you around. It's your house. It's your fucking house.
But she does have things to do. I assume we.
Oh dear. Oh boy.
Station.
Chapter 3.
That looks like Adine.
Yeah.
Superstition.
Yeah.
Hasn't done her tail.
And so now it's probably about time to get accosted by Maverick again.
The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home, enclosed within the towering perimeter wall, raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope.
Oh, I see that Earth is fucked.
Wait, what? Why?
Oh, yeah.
You were talking.
Zani, please come with me.
Wait, hold on.
What?
What's ours? Oh, alright. At least we're still good with her. What's that? Alright. What's going on? You sound serious.
The chief will explain everything once we arrive.
Okay. Sure. Lead on. And stuff.
Oh.
Hey, Chief, Zani is here.
Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Zani, alright?
Yep.
Damn it. Zani, I've got some really bad news. Well, what is it? You know Anna, right?
Oh no.
I've met her, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Dread sank in, and I already knew. Don't. I ignored his words and walked past him. Oh, are you fucking serious?
Oh my god. I didn't dislike her that much.
Oh. Fuck.
Well,
Well, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and blood-stained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't even deserve full discretion.
Check your status. Oh, shit.
Fuck.
I wonder,
Fuck.
kind of wonder, if they, kill off whoever you have the worst relationship with, and thus, in a meta way, your bad date with her is why she died.
I mean, I don't know. Fuck. That was not what I was expecting.
Did stuff get real for you?
I mean,
Has the gravity of the situation?
I mean, the other two victims were nameless NPCs. They didn't have stories and shit. Fuck. All right. Are you okay? No. The answer is no. Is there anything that I can do? Let's just get this over with. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded. And here's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you. Why is that? Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen if they do. I'm not sure what to say about that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while, and I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way we can take action before the ministry does, and before this all becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No. No? This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators, and let's not forget that Reza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal, or what they do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Zani. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen, among them your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'll shelf that idea under possible but unlikely.
Hey, Chief, are we done here?
Pretty much. Why do you ask?
We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Zanya to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately.
Immediately, as in right now?
What that would be?
Yep.
What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it.
You're not Frank, you're Bryce.
Yeah, I'm not Frank yet.
Mm-hmm. Look, I'm just trying to add some levity. You're like really sad now.
Oh,
You
man.
don't think they're gonna throw us a surprise party?
I think that's unlikely, unless they suddenly decide to insert Pinkie Pie into the story.
That would be a little strange.
It would be. Maybe. I suppose we'll see soon enough. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting.
Sure thing, Chief.
Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice.
There's always a choice.
Fucking fuck, man.
What's her name?
Holy shit.
That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer.
Greetings, Minister. Hi. Shall we go inside for our official business?
No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here unless you have any objections.
I don't.
I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Reza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long.
Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found and those 3 murders now being linked together, and to him did your ministry have to become involved.
I see. So Reza's involvement is now undeniable.
I'm afraid so, Minister.
Facts are nothing to be afraid of. Though, in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety.
With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon.
Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection?
Oh, for sure. If you are worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you.
Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic of my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what to be done about Reza and Zani.
Minister, we continue our hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Zani has been helping us to do so for a while now.
Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective? Interesting. And how do we know Zani isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be?
Similar concerns were levied by Reza's escort, Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place.
Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Zani, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived.
I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then.
How so?
Maverick suspected Reza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case.
Well, did he?
No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Zani at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Zani wounded and Reza running away. Reza's been missing ever since.
I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it?
I have no way of knowing that, Minister.
You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then.
Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter.
Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place?
Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made the decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard.
Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it?
It says 2020.
Alright. You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Raisa's escort. Is that true?
Yes. Had I paid more attention to the warning signs, the situation may have been avoided.
So you accept responsibility for the incident?
Yes, Minister.
I see. Now, let us get back to the topic of Zani. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us?
Fucking dragons.
Basically.
Price wouldn't let me say no.
Pretty much.
I think it's my best bet at finding the truth.
I thought Reza's involvement was undeniable at this point.
That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved or his reasons. I just want to know why.
I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and learning both of your accounts, I believe that Zani is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Zani presents a great risk.
Why's that?
After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think of your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Zani, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement.
But he already knows I mean, if we presume that he was the guy in the mask, he already knows I'm helping the police, and not only did he not kill me, he saved me from falling shenanigans. There's more to this. It's not so cut and dry. They don't have any solid proof that's actually Reza doing any of this shit.
Yeah, I think there's something weird going on with their technologies. Because he was implying that this world would be destroyed.
Yeah, there's something bad is going to happen, and I'm becoming less and less convinced that Reza is actually the cause of said badness.
Exactly. All things considered, it would be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved.
Oh, no. We've already had this conversation.
Yeah.
I came to the very same conclusion, mister.
And then, with your support, this is what shall be done.
Please don't.
You don't agree?
If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators, our PDAs, or Reza.
Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was.
But I was his partner, so in a way, he's my responsibility. I can't just go back like this.
I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home.
Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything.
Dun 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 dun. Words.
Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yes, exactly. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment is greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people, but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements have drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet one day, everything changed.
When the Fire Nation attacked.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Yeah, it's Fire Nation.
Or the sun.
The sun.
A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history.
We call that a coronal mass emission, not a solar flare.
Oh, god damn it. Nerd.
Nerd.
Yep.
We had less than a week to repair. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reorientated in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event and all our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied as they were terrifying.
Aurora's down to the equator, of course.
A huge, beautiful aurora that could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke as though the day had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as the result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, societies we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion.
Everyone died of dysentery.
Yep.
At the end.
Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society, not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuum was filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody days of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately, though, supplies have started to run low, dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading throughout the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you. And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised us. Well,
Damn.
This makes the start of the game make slightly more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, you should have known about this, like, from the start.
Well, my character did, but, we had to have the dramatic reveal.
Exactly.
Oh, man. The act of sending Reza and me here has, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of our world is unknown. When Reza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of the tens of thousands that live in our city. I'm sorry, Zani. I didn't know.
If what you are telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Reza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures, after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him.
I'm not. What Reza's doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances because I'm your best bet at finding him.
Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Reza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks.
What about our deal, then?
In the wake of this new information and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under 2 conditions. Humanity must condemn Reza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs.
I've changed my mind. You should let Zani stay here.
I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Zani sent back to the human world through the portal.
Please.
Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Zani to the portal now.
I could do it myself, Minister.
Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I'd rather get that over with as quickly as possible.
In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here.
How handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours.
It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest, and he was given the task of sending me back through the portal.
Let's go, Zani.
Don't I even get to say goodbye?
Let us not waste any more time. You'll still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side.
Just go, Zani.
Come on, then.
Alright.
Did this get real for you?
Shit hit the fan
Yeah,
real hard.
You thought you were signing up for like a happy-go-lucky dating simulator.
I mean, I had some implications from the Facebook post where I found this game that shit would get real at some point in some manner, but I was not expecting this. All right. We'll pause. Let's stop this episode here.